Happy Friday, everybody! It's Friday! Whoop! Whoop! We made it through another week of e-learning. I'm so glad that we have rocked it this week and we've been having an awesome time together reading all of the different Three Little Pig stories. I saved one more and we're going to see that last one today before we change up what we're going to do for next week's Read Alouds. So let's enjoy this last day of the Three Little Pigs together. Let's go! This is our last day of the week, doing fairy tales and fables. Last day! Let's remind ourselves of those characteristics of a fairy tale. They are once upon a time, good and evil characters, happy endings like they all lived happily ever after, then the rule of three, and there's a problem that needs to be solved. You are doing so good. It's like you're teaching me. You know them so well already. Very, very impressed in you. Let's go do our fairy tale chant again. Fairy tale chant, get ready, go. Fairy tales are stories that start with once upon a time and have good and evil characters and have a happy ending. Let's continue and look at some of the feeling words that we're going to feel in today's story. I just love our fairy tale chants so much. It makes me so happy to do it. In today's story, our character or characters are going to be horrified. What does it mean, scholars, to be horrified? Yeah, I see in the picture that the girl's getting scared by a ghost. It's when you are shocked about something frightening or terrible that is happening. So there's a ghost and she's going, "Mah!" because she is horrified by the ghost. The ghost is scaring her and she's so shocked that she's horrified. I have a sentence as well to help us remember what horrified means. I was horrified when my sister jumped out and scared me. She thought it was going to be funny to do that and she hopped out and scared me. And she scared me so badly that I was horrified for what she did. Whoa. That does not sound fun at all. Now we're going to see the last story that we're going to read for the Three Little Pigs week. The story is The Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig. I already see a big difference. The Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig. They flip-flopped. Well, I think this is going to be a hilarious story. They flip-flopped their roles in the story. I want you to think about how is this story similar and different from the original Three Little Pigs story. So how is it the same and how is it different from the Three Little Pigs original story? Then, why are the wolves horrified in the story? And lastly, what happens in the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story? The beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. I cannot wait to hear how you think there are similarities and differences between this book and the original Three Little Pigs story. Enjoy The Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig.
The Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig. The Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig. Once upon a time, there were three cuddly little wolves with soft fur and fluffy tails who lived with their mother. The first was black, the second was gray, and the third was white. One day the mother called the three little wolves around her and said, "My children, it is time for you to go out into the world. Go and build a house for yourselves, but beware of the big bad pig." "Don't worry, Mother. We will watch out for him," said the three little wolves, and they set off. Soon they met a kangaroo who was pushing a wheelbarrow full of red and yellow bricks. "Please, will you give us some of your bricks?" asked the three wolves. "Certainly," said the kangaroo, and she gave them lots of red and yellow bricks. So the three wolves built themselves a house of bricks. The very next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of bricks that the little wolves had built. The three little wolves were playing croquet in the garden. When they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside the house and locked the door. The pig knocked on the door and grunted, little wolves, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, We will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down, said the pig. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, but the house did not fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He went and fetched his sledgehammer, and he knocked the house down. The three little wolves only just managed to escape before the bricks crumbled, and they were very frightened indeed. We shall have to build a stronger house, they said. Just then they saw a beaver who was mixing concrete in a concrete mixer. Please, will you give us some of your concrete? Asked the three little wolves. Certainly, said the beaver, and he gave them buckets and buckets full of messy, slurry concrete. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of concrete. No sooner had they finished than the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of concrete that the little wolves had built. They were playing badminton and shuttlecock in the garden, and when they saw that the big bad pig was coming, they ran inside their house and shut the door. The pig rang the bell and said, Little frightened wolves, let me come in. No, 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 said the three little wolves. By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down, said the pig. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, but the house didn't fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He went and fetched his pneumatic drill and smashed the house down. The three little wolves managed to escape, but their chinny chin chins were trembling and trembling and trembling. Scholars, the little wolves were trembling because they were horrified. We should build an even stronger house, they said, because they were very determined. Just then they saw a truck coming along the road carrying barbed wire, iron bars, armor plates, and heavy metal padlocks. Please, will you give us some of your barbed wire, a few iron bars and armor plates, and some heavy metal padlocks? They said to the rhinoceros who was driving the truck. Sure, said the rhinoceros, and he gave them plenty of barbed wire, iron bars, armor plates, and heavy metal padlocks. He also gave them some plexigles and some reinforced steel chains because he was a generous and kind-hearted rhinoceros. So the three little wolves built themselves an extremely strong house. It was the strongest, securest house one could possibly imagine. They felt absolutely safe. The next day, the big bad pig came prowling along the road as usual. The three little wolves were playing hopscotch in the garden. When they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside their house, bolted the door, and locked all the 37 padlocks. The pig dialed the video entrance phone and said, Little frightened wolves with the trembling chins, let me come in. No, 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 said the little wolves. By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down, said the pig. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, but the house didn't fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He brought some dynamite and laid it against the house, lit the fuse, and the house blew up. The three little wolves just managed to escape with their fluffy tails scorched. Scholars, why might the little wolves be horrified right now in the story? Something must be wrong with our building materials, they said. We have to try something different. But what? At that moment, they saw a flamingo coming along, pushing a wheelbarrow full of flowers. Please, will you give us some flowers? Asked the little wolves. With pleasure, said the flamingo. And he gave them lots of flowers. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of flowers. One wall was of marigolds, one of daffodils, one of pink roses, and one of cherry blossoms. The ceiling was made of sunflowers, and the floor was a carpet of daisies. They hid water lilies in the bathtub and buttercups in the refrigerator. It was a rather fragile house, and it swayed in the wind, but it was very beautiful. The next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of flowers that the three little wolves had built. He rang the blue bell at the door and said, "Little frightened wolves with the trembling chins and the scorched tails, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in. Not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. But he took a deep breath, ready to huff and puff. He smelled the soft scent of the flowers. It was fantastic. And because the scent was so lovely, the pig took another breath and another. Instead of huffing and puffing, he began to sniff. He sniffed deeper and deeper until he was quite filled with a fragrant scent. His heart grew tender, and he realized how horrible he had been. Right then, he decided to become a big good pig. He started to sing and dance the tarantella. At first, the three little wolves were a bit worried. It might be a trick, but soon they realized that the pig had truly changed. So they came running out of the house. They started playing games with him. First, they played pig pog, and then piggy in the middle, and then they were all tired. They invited him into the house. They offered him tea and strawberries and wolfberries, and asked him to stay with them as long as he wanted. The pig accepted, and they all lived happily together ever after. Welcome back, scholars. Did you enjoy the big switch up of this story? Remember, this story was a big flip-flop. We flip-flopped the characters. So instead of it being the three little pigs, it was the three little wolves. Instead of the big bad wolf, it was the big bad pig. So that was such a big flip-flop. Did you like the change? I thought it was hilarious, the fact that they changed like that. So in this story, I wanted you to think about first, what are some of the similarities and differences in the story? Which I kind of just gave away some of the differences. So let's start with differences first. Name some for me. Yeah. The big differences were first, of course, we flip-flopped all the characters. So the pigs are now wolves, and the big bad wolf is now the big bad pig. And some other differences is at the end, they build a different house. They built a house of flowers. You're right. Big difference for that one. What are some of the similarities? Yes, a big similarity is that there were three houses, three main houses. But a big difference is that the wolves built those houses together. In the original story, each pig builds their own house. But in this one, all the wolves work together to build their house to live together. So they are building houses. That's a big similarity. Another similarity is that the characters' roles. So the good and evil characters are still the same. There's three good characters and there's one really bad character trying to destroy the other characters' homes. So that's a big similarity. Why might the wolves be horrified in the story? Yeah, they were horrified because they built these extremely strong and secure houses, and they thought that everything was going to be fine. But they were horrified when they found out that even their strongest, most secure homes were destroyed by the big bad pig. They thought having this really strong material and all the steel bars and barbed wire, all of that, was going to keep the pig from destroying their homes. But they were horrified and shocked when they found out that the pig was still able to destroy their homes. Yikes! I hope that you enjoyed this week, scholars, working on all of our fairy tale stories of the Three Little Pigs. Before you go, I want you to click the link below and fill out what happened at the beginning, the middle, and the end. The Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig. I want to see your answers and also which book was your favorite for the week. I cannot wait to see all those responses. Have a wonderful, marvelous weekend, scholars. I love all of you bunches. Goodbye.